Hello and welcome to top10list.org, where you get a world of knowledge in 10 simple points. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about the top 10 most memorable things of 2012. And we're going to begin at number 10 with the Saville scandal. This was one of the biggest talked about news stories of 2012, and it was also one of the most shocking. Basically, allegations arose a year after Jimmy Saville's death that he was sexually assaulting boys, girls, and adults alike all throughout his life and getting away with it as he was so famous, and this spiked an inquest into different celebrities and found that throughout the 60s and 70s, a lot of celebrities were following Saville's footsteps. It was a sickening investigation that has even accused people wrongly. Number 9 is the iPhone 5. Quite possibly the most anticipated gadget of the year, the iPhone 5. People were queuing up for days just to get their hands on this device. I have one and it's the best phone I've ever had, but I'm clever and waited a few weeks to avoid the manic and stress. Despite all the manic over this, it is still not the best phone out there. Apple can be a little bit overrated with all the pop culture surrounding it, and there are some that are just as good, such as the Galaxy S3 and S4. Number 8, the presidential debate. This was all over the news, two men battling it out in words to become the president of the United States for the next 4 years. Everyone knows that Barack Obama won over Mitt Romney, and it was one of the fiercest debates in American history. The debate was probably not the most famous thing that came from this. The most famous thing was possibly Barack Obama's victory hug with his wife's photo that became extremely viral across the internet. Number 7, a personal favorite of mine on this list is the Red Bull Stratos jump. This was one of those things you watched and think, what the hell was that guy thinking? Felix Baumgartner traveled up to 123,000 feet on the 14th of October in a giant helium-filled balloon to reach the stratosphere, and then he jumped. The adrenaline junkie reached a dramatic speed of 834.4 miles per hour, which is phenomenal. He broke the speed barrier Mach 1.24. He even found himself in a crazy death spin in the middle of the air, but somehow corrected himself in time to pull his chute. He set a variety of records that day. Number 6 was Hurricane Sandy. This was possibly the worst thing to happen in 2012. This hurricane devastated most parts of the Caribbean, Mid-Atlantic, and northeastern America. It was the largest Atlantic hurricane on record, with winds spanning across 1,100 miles. It cost the economy $65.6 billion. This disaster tragically cost the lives of 253 people and ruined the homes of millions, leaving people homeless without food, water, and shelter. The amount of people and communities that came together during the aftermath of this was phenomenal. People were building shelters, giving warm clothes and food away, and even providing electricity to charge people's phones for them. Number 5, Mars Curiosity rover lands, one of the biggest scientific feats to happen in the whole of the 21st century. People don't realize how big this machine is. It's the size of a family car, but in pictures it looks tiny. It took a year to get Mars, and now it's on a mission to find any signs of life and just basically wander around the planet to just have a look at what's there. The rover has traveled over 350 million miles through space, and that's always giving information back to Earth. In my opinion, this is one of the most amazing and exciting things to happen in my lifetime. If it was me on the controls though, I'd be drifting the car all over the dunes and showing those Martians how badass we humans are. Number 4, the Diamond Jubilee. Our good old Queen celebrated her 75th anniversary of her reign, and it was only the second to ever happen in the country following Queen Victoria, and it was a wonderful day. Like the Olympics, everyone turned to a crazy patriotic machine, decorating everything they can with Great Britain flags and Union Jacks. This kind of thing only happens once in a blue moon and could possibly never happen again. Number 3 is the Costa Concordia disaster. This was extremely tragic. On January 13th, the cruise ship, the Costa Concordia, grounded unintentionally and partially capsized, injuring many and costing the lives of 34 people. The captain, Captain Chitino, tried to make his landing as look really good as he could and get as close to the shore as possible. He didn't listen and turned off his depth radar and caused the crash. The cruise liner was heading on a medium cruise when the accident occurred, and this was all over the news, and the wreckage is still there today. Number 2, the Olympics in London of 2012. This was the biggest event of 2012, with over 90% of the entire UK population watching at least 15 minutes of it, therefore making it the most watched television show since the pre-digital age. Even 219 million Americans watched the London Olympics. There was so much patriotism it was crazy. Just walking through the streets, you could see hundreds of flags of Great Britain flying in the air. There were some crazy things that happened in the event, such as Michael Phelps becoming the most decorated Olympian ever, Bradley Wiggins winning in style on his throne, Gemma Gibbons touching the win in the judo, and thousands more. Number 1, the world ended, or no, it didn't. This was quite possibly the biggest letdown or relief that ever happened. Not saying that I would have liked this to happen, but there was so much controversy and speculation around this that millions of people believed that something bad was going to happen on the 21st of December, where theories of meteors, supervolcanoes, earthquakes, and even a mysterious planet Nibiru that would collide with Earth. I feel sorry for most of the preppers for 2012 that spent thousands on shelters and survival food only for it to just be in use for another day. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Top 10. If you enjoyed that year of 2012 and its excitement, click subscribe. Don't hesitate to join us again for another edition.